Ever since Marineford, when we first saw Sengoku use his Devil Fruit, and for those who don't know, Sengoku Devil Fruit is the Hito Hito no Mi model Daibutsu, or the human fruit model Buddha. It is a mythical Zoan that allows Sengoku to turn into a giant golden Buddha and attack people with the various powers he gains from that Devil Fruit. Now, we don't know much about what Sengoku can do in this form, other than fire Shockwave, because we've only ever seen Sengoku fight one time. That one time is of course when he attacked Luffy when he was trying to free Ace during the Summit War-Off. Now, what does this mean and why am I talking about Sengoku? Because Sengoku is the only time we've seen a mythical Zoan be based on a deity, or a religious figure. Because while we have seen mythical Zoans like Kaido's Fish Fruit model Azor Dragon, we've never seen a mythical Zoan based on a deity besides for Sengoku's. And Oda needs to steer away from doing that, probably for the reasons of just not wanting to get into real-world religion in One Piece, especially because the One Piece world is so drastically different than ours. It's really hard to see why those religions or those mythical tales would even exist in One Piece. Now, that aside, I was thinking the other day about Emu. Yes, Emu, the secret ruler of the world government, who we know nothing about. I can't even say he or she because we don't know what gender Emu is. We can assume it's a guy, but honestly, given the slender silhouette we see, it could be a woman. Or it could be a very regal-looking man, I don't know. But we still don't technically know what gender Emu is. Emu is not even a gender name. There's nothing we can attribute the name Emu to in Japanese gender-wise. We have nothing to go off of. All we know is that there is a throne room in Castle Pangea with 20 swords from the original 20 kings stabbed beneath the foot of a giant throne, and that throne is referred to by the world as the Empty Throne, and Emu is sitting in the throne secretly. A majority of people in the world, if not 99% of the world, besides for, I would assume, the Roger Pirates and the Gorosei, don't know Emu's real. The rest of the world legitimately believes that the kings that attend Reverie and the 5 Elder Stars make all the decisions. And that could be true by and large, but Em is clearly the head honcho of the world government. He clearly, or she, is clearly the person sitting at the top of the world government food chain, making the world government, I guess, more akin to a dictatorship than an oligarchy, which is what we previously thought it was. Now, why am I doing this? Why am I talking about Eve and the Hito Hito no Mi model Daibutsu? Because a lot of people have thrown around that Eve maybe has the Water no Mi, or the Water Fruit, or the Mizu no Mi, whatever you wanted to call it, which would allow Eve to be a Water Logia. Now, I think a lot of people have talked about how this would ruin Devil Fruit. It would be cheap, it would be lazy. Oh, Devil Fruit users can't swim, they're weakness in water, and the main villain, the leader of the world government, and one of the biggest, baddest people around, have the power to turn into it. Ha ha ha, whatever. That's dumb to me. But I did think it would be really interesting if the leader of the world government, or the person that at least sits atop the empty throne, could still bypass the weakness without actually having to swim. So then I was thinking, what if, especially given the fact that we've really been focusing on the mythical Zoans recently in the manga, with the revelation that Luffy's Gumu Gumu no Mi is actually the Hito Hito no Mi model Sun God Nika, or the human fruit model Sun God Nika. Now, Nika is of course a fictional deity that represents Joy Boy and something to do with the Void Century and the Drums of Liberation that Oda created for the story. But I would like to throw out an idea. What if Eam does have a mythical Zoan based on an actual religious mythical figure that does exist in our world that would allow him to bypass the weakness that all Devil Fruit users across the spectrum, from Alvida to Straw Hat Luffy, the newest Emperor of the Sea, they all share the weakness. If they come in contact with water, they become weak, and when they are fully submerged in water, they become anchors and will sink to the bottom of the ocean immediately. They will be able to move barely, and some of them, their powers will even deactivate depending on the type of fruit that they have. So, how could you bypass this weakness without gaining the ability to not be an anchor? And what religious figure am I talking about? Let's get into it. Before we go on, I would like to clarify that there is something about Sengoku Devil Fruit that is worth noting, which is that it is not an ancient Zoan. Because while we know for a fact there was a man on the planet named Buddha, and there was a guy like that existed, the mythical part, the part that makes it a mythical Zoan, is the fact that this Buddha figure has abilities and powers that regular human beings do not. We already have a regular human fruit, or Hito no Mi, in Chopper's Devil Fruit. So saying a fruit is mythical, it does not necessarily mean the person the fruit is modeled after did not exist in real world history. It just means the abilities we are attributing to that person are up for debate or are considered a myth by many people. With all that boring stuff out of the way, I would like to introduce you to the Devil Fruit that I think Ian possesses and why it is important that Ian possesses it. The human fruit model Jesus Christ. So right out of the gate, the major ability this would grant Imu is the ability to walk on water, negating the weakness of the Devil Fruit. He can walk on water, and it is not in the manner that Brook does by being really light and running really fast. We are talking of that he can literally stand in place atop of water. Because it's important to remember, the Devil Fruit user can easily make contact with water and be fine. Luffy drinks water constantly. Robin bathes every single day when she's on the sunny and seems to suffer no negative consequences of doing this. She's able to do it without any real problem, and whenever we see fan service moments in the story of her and Nami in the bath or in a hot spring, Robin also seems unaffected at all. They can also get rained on. Luffy, Robin, Chopper, Brooks, they've all been in the rain plenty of times, have no problems. So water itself isn't the problem, it's large amounts of it and drowning. So it wouldn't be any issue for Eames to just put his feet on the water and stay on the top of it. That probably wouldn't weaken him any more than taking a shower or walking through the rain. Now, I know what you're thinking. He can walk on water like Jesus, big whoop. How did he become the leader of the strongest, most oppressive government on the planet that rules over 170 plus countries? Because the Buddha also doesn't fire giant lasers or grow like 20 feet tall and turn gold. It's practically a meme at this point how inaccurate Oda's ancient Zoans were and all the stuff he said dinosaurs could do in his universe. The great thing about Jesus is also that he's not story breaking. Jesus has a lot of abilities, but none of them are that amazing in terms of like when you think of God level character. It's not like we're introducing a Yahweh Devil Fruit. Now that would be a problem that would really break the power scaling of the story. No, but Jesus has a couple of abilities that if used properly could be really wacky. And we've actually seen all of them before besides for two of them, which would also be one of the reasons that Ian would be so powerful, because he had the ability of multiple Devil Fruit granted to him just from his singular fruit. Most of Jesus' abilities are attributed to his ability to grant miracles. Now, one of the miracles he would grant is that he could heal injuries. Now, we've seen that before in Mancherry's Heal Fruit. But what if Eam, because this is a divine mythical Zoan fruit, could do it en masse? What if he could walk into a battle like the one from Marineford and just heal the Marines? So all the Navy fighters, all the admirals, get Akainu back to full strength right away, as if he had never been pummeled by Whitebeard, and they could just get up and keep fighting, fully rejuvenated. And he could just do that over and over and over again. Jesus came back from the dead. He has the ability of resurrection. Where have we seen that before? That is Brook's Devil Fruit, the Revive Fruit, or the Yomi no Mi. What if the human fruit model Jesus allows the user to just do this over and over again? And that's how Eam has stayed alive for so long. Now that's all well and good, but this is a shonen battle manga. How is Imu gonna punch somebody? Well, Jesus could control nature to some degree. That was one of his miracles, which would essentially just make Eam Aramaki on super steroid. And we saw what Aramaki was able to do with his forest fruit. You could even make an argument that maybe that was partly how Eam gathers so many loyal followers. Maybe he's literally convinced people that he's performing miracles in God's name because he has all these insane powers. Maybe people legitimately don't believe in the Devil Fruit. Maybe Bagorothe and everybody are fully tricked into thinking this guy is really some kind of god, when actually Im is just using a mythical Zoan like Luffy is. That even could be part of the reason that Imu and the world government are so afraid of Luffy's Nika fruit. Because Luffy's Nika fruit is the only other fruit that maybe can rival Imu in the amount of versatility of the fruit. Now, while Imu maybe has more abilities than Luffy, Luffy has more freedom with his limited abilities. Luffy can use his fruit in any way he so pleases. Maybe Imu, like Jesus, needs to make sort of sacrifices of some kind. He needs to make up offering to be able to do his ability. Maybe there's some sort of trade-off for it. Im has the most powerful devil fruit in the world, or one of them, but he's very restricted in how he can use it because it abides by all these rules. While Luffy Gumu Gumu no Mi, or his Hito Hito no Mi model Nika, has no restrictions at all. Luffy can do basically anything. During his fight with Kaido, he reached up into the sky, grabbed a lightning bolt, turned it into rubber, threw it at Kaido, and it turned back into a regular lightning bolt after he let go of it, and it almost hit Kaido. Kaido barely avoided that. So maybe that's it. A fruit that is incredibly powerful but oppresses the user's imagination and the ways they can use it in battle, and the most ridiculous power of them all. The silliest, goofiest, cartooniest power. A power defined by freedom? I also think, as I said earlier, maybe Imu was able to use these powers to convince people, maybe the original 20 Kings, that he was some kind of god. It would also explain how they managed to get or take the ancient weapons. If we assume that the ancient kingdom created the ancient weapons, maybe Imu's devil fruit is how they managed to defeat Joy Boy and the ancient kingdom the first time. And as I said earlier, the limitation on the devil fruit would be that he has to perform certain acts to use his power. Maybe he has to do them all before the battle or the beginning of every day. I'm not quite sure, but maybe he has to do the kinds of things that Jesus did before his miracles to use the abilities, or maybe he has to do them like before the fight, or like carry a pouch of things on him that he must sacrifice in the heat of battle to use the powers, and then he only has them for a certain period of time. I'm only bringing this up because I do feel like without that, we would be getting into the way too powerful, extremely insane, like how the hell could Luffy beat this kind of thing? Because right now we're still discussing how Luffy's gonna beat a guy who has control over just earthquakes. Actually, I'm just realizing this as I'm recording the video. I didn't think about this before I started. But if Imu had the power to control the weather because of the Jesus fruit, would he be able to replicate the effect of Whitebeard's Gora Gora no Mi? Now, actually, if you think about it, his ability to control nature, remember, it's not that Jesus could control the weather. From my research, I actually haven't read the Bible, but from my research, Jesus could control nature. Perhaps this is how the cleansings that the Gorosei speak of happen. Perhaps Imu can create giant tidal waves and wipe away islands, set off volcanoes. Perhaps he can use the abilities of like the Gora Gora no Mi and destroy parts of the world like Whitebeard considered doing to Marineford. But then again, I could be entirely wrong, because as I said at the very beginning of the video, we don't even know what Im's gender is. We know nothing about Im. We just know that he has pictures of Shirahoshi, Vivi, Luffy, and Blackbeard, and then he has some interest in Vivi, specifically. Like, all of our theories could be wrong. There are people that have theories that he wants Vivi to be his wife, but we don't even know if Im would want a wife, because Im could be a straight woman for all we know. But I know that I have the feeling that Im is very powerful. I don't know how Im could control the world government and the Gorosei the way he does with such secrecy without being known to the world, unless he was very powerful. He must have some way to keep people like the Five Elders from ever considering to betray him. Now, for all we know, that could be mind control. But if Im wasn't ridiculously powerful, and he wasn't like mind controlling the Five Elder Stars, there would be no reason for the Five Elder Stars to listen to him. Why would they? I mean, they're the Five Elder Stars. They're the guys the government listens to. If he's just a guy who lived a long time or part of some random regular bloodline of regular-ass royal people, they can just kill him. There needs to be a reason that the Gorosei, the five most politically powerful people in the entire story, and potentially physically, depending on what Oda reveals about them, are bowing to this guy, like, on their knees, and are asking him what he wishes to happen so they can make it so. And he, as I said earlier, like a minute ago, he does all this without anyone knowing he exists. The throne he sits on isn't even a secret. People and kings and queens go to it every 4 years during reverie and look at it and put a sword in the pile and pledge allegiance to the empty throne and to make an oath to never sit atop it. Which is of course all part of the world government propaganda machine, that the world government is this incredibly fair, almost democratic organization where all the leaders and the kings and the presidents and the lords and ladies and mistresses and dukes of all these countries can come together and make decisions and vote at a table with even playing fields. Which is not, I mean, I would assume if the people at one of those tables at one of those reveries made a decision somebody didn't like, they would either kill that person or just not do it. That's probably what happened to Cobra. He probably did something that Emu or Bagora said he didn't like, so they offed him. So I just wanted to theorize for like 10 minutes, what makes Eam so powerful? What makes Eam able to rule the government? What is it with Eam? I may do more videos about Eam in the future. I find Eam fascinating. He was introduced, or she was introduced, so late in the story. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Tell me what you think of my theory in the comment section down below. Like the video if you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter to hear what I think about random other nonsense. Above all else, guys, have a great day. Oh, also subscribe if you liked the video.